Real quick, spice level, anywhere from 0 to whatever we want, really.
Yeah.
But 100 is a
perfectly spiced movie.
just the best thing.
Over 100, that's when spiciness starts to take over actual flavor. You don't want that in a spicy dish.
Right. It just doesn't taste good anymore. It's just too hot.
Yeah.
So Thor, Love and Thunder is probably the best example that we could think of recently. It was, you could tell that it could have been good, but they just added too much.
Yeah, that's an over-the-top spice.
That's our spice meter. Hello, welcome everybody to the room upstairs. This is the greatest duo of father and son since the announcement of Kurt and Wyatt Russell in Monarch, the Legacy of Monsters, which comes out on Apple TV and we don't have. Really makes me want to have it. Comes out in November sometime.
Yeah.
But welcome to the room upstairs. My name is Bird. I am here with
The Tall Being, who is not being sponsored by Apple TV.
unfortunately, maybe one day, we are missing our third co-host, Mephisto. He's out, not feeling well. He would actually be a really good addition to today's battle.
Yes.
Because he's kind of our resident.
He's a comic book guy.
Yeah. And we will be battling Dredd.
He's the one who told us to do this one, too.
Oh, gosh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so we're going to be battling out Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone and the remake Dredd with Karl Urban. But before we get to all that, well, let's handle some of our business first, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the room upstairs. Follow us on our socials. You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram. And, of course, if you're watching us already, we're on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, comment.
All the things.
Our favorite thing, though, is for you guys to comment. Let us know what you guys think about these movies that we're talking about or TV shows. Mm-hmm. And, of course, the battles. If you disagree with our picks, let us know why. If you agree, also let us know why. And then we can put you up on a pedestal on our socials and say, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, or girl.
Or girl.
So, yeah, follow us. Find us, The Room Upstairs Podcast, on our socials. And one more order of business. Conan.
No Conan.
No Conan update yet. Make sure to stick around with us, because once we get news about a new Conan movie, we will be here to let you know.
Yes.
So, all right. That's our business.
We'll post a special episode of just us talking about the Conan movie when it comes out.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to do the battle. We'll do the new movie.
We'll do a marathon of only Conan stuff.
That's right.
There's probably a game.
Man, you know what? I don't even remember a game. I'm sure there was.
I'm sure there's like a Sega Genesis game. I
there
guarantee
probably was. I do not remember a game, but I could very well be wrong.
About to get a bunch of commenters. I can hear it already.
Yeah, let us know. That's cool. Let us know. We don't know all the things. We just know some of the things.
Yes.
So, what are the other things that we're going to be talking about today?
Today we also have our composer mini battle, another one. We're in the middle of our bracket style tournament, so stay tuned on all of our episodes. Go back and check out some others. If you, in the description should be who we're battling each day.
Yep.
And today is going to be Lorne Balfe and Daniel Pemberton.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we've got a little something that came out. And that'll be the first 3 episodes of the second season of Loki. And I don't know why I did the fingers, but it felt right.
It's more dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't kept up to date with Loki, feel free to fast forward this section. We'll probably put some little markers on the description so you can fast forward to when we stop talking about it. But we're going episodes 1 through 3. Won't be too long, I think, right?
No.
Yeah. Because again, our resident comic guy is
gone.
not here today. And
He's with us in spirit.
But we know all about season 1, and we're up to episode 3, season 2.
Yes.
And you want to get right into it?
Let's do it.
Okay. So let's get to it.
So I'm going to rapid fire review these real quick, because I actually don't have a whole lot to say on this. I'm just interested in where this is going for the most part.
Okay, you want to give a quick review of what's going on so far in Loki?
Yes. So far, we've got time slipping thing that just got solved, but I'm pretty sure that's coming back at some point. There's no way they introduced that for nothing. We've got McDonald's.
Yeah.
We have multiversal bombing, which is crazy. We haven't done anything with that either. We've got Kangs, but just one right now.
So far. I mean, you could say 2.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
The decomposing corpse.
We have technically had 2 Kangs show up in this season now.
Yeah.
So,
and a very important character that you haven't mentioned yet.
which one? They're all pretty important.
Okay.
OB?
A very favorite character.
OB?
OB.
Yeah, OB.
Yeah, he's...
We're all gonna die.
He's been great so far.
Yes. What's his name? Hui Kwan?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short round.
Short round.
Love you.
Yeah, he's been great in this series so far. All right, well, you're all caught up on what's going on, right?
Yeah. That explains everything.
Okay. Yeah, we're not going to go like real into detail, and we're going to keep it brief on this section. So, let's go ahead.
Good. It's good.
Oh, that's it.
That's
okay.
Good. First episode, fast paced. It was fun. Got you into the show, and it was like, what is going to happen? Second episode, probably my favorite episode of Marvel television ever. It makes me happy on a fundamental level.
Bold.
It's got some great writing, some great character stuff. It's just, I love that episode so much. Third episode did not make me feel that way. Third episode felt a little more everywhere, all over the place. We're trying to focus on a lot of different characters. It felt like the end of the season, kind of, but also like still just the beginning in other parts. It was really weird.
For the majority, I agree with you, though I think I would swap 1 and 2 my favorite episode. I wouldn't say of a whole Marvel series, but definitely for this Loki so far has been episode 1. Just the wittiness of it, the
this
banter
show has
between the
a very
characters.
specific sense of humor, which I really love.
It does.
It's like kind of weird and like
right.
out of pocket kind of stuff.
Right. But like you said, this third episode was a little off.
Yeah.
Even with the banter, there wasn't as much of it. And when there was, it felt like it was a little bit out of place for me.
Yeah.
So this third episode, definitely a little displacing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Hoping it's just a hiccup. Because the first 2 were really good.
I feel like it's definitely a setup for what's coming next. It's almost like it's one of those throwaway episodes, but it was setting up. Like all of that stuff could have been condensed, and it wasn't. So I feel like in that sense it was a throwaway episode, but it had to happen to push the story forward. So it was still moving forward. Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just weird with the old timey music,
which I liked. That it was fun, but I feel like it is off putting if we're not going to be doing that. Every episode.
It's kind of how I felt with
Multiverse of Madness. Oh, okay.
Kind of same thing.
Yeah.
But with WandaVision, the first 3 or I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 black and white episodes, I felt like they were unnecessary. One episode, cool. Maybe a half an episode.
Yeah.
But to do 3 or 4, I felt like that was unnecessary. So I kind of felt this way for this episode, where like you didn't have to do that, but they did.
Yeah.
And WandaVision ended up being really good.
Yes. Yeah.
But I could have done without those first few. So we'll see what happens here. But second episode was also very good.
I love the second episode.
Yeah, the writing was really good. There was a few things that happened in that episode that I was kind of,
why didn't you do that?
Yeah. But it's cool that Loki has his powers, because I was actually thinking of that because in episode 1 he didn't really use his powers. So I was like,
well, that's because he's in the TVA. Powers don't work in there.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. So episode 2 came around. I was like, is he going to use his powers? And he did. And episode 3 he used them even more. So that was cool.
Yeah.
We're not waiting for that.
Forgetting about that.
Right. Exactly. It felt like they kind of did, but they didn't. So I'm glad about that. But yeah, there's 3 episodes left. Halfway point.
I'm getting worried again.
It's kind of
I'm getting worried because I don't know where this is going,
mm-hmm.
and that's like, I don't know where the show's going.
Right.
It could go anywhere.
In one sense, when we used to say I don't know where the show is going with series like series
Yeah,
with a series like Hawkeye or the Winter Soldier,
Mm-hmm.
Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
When I would say I don't know where this is going, it's because there's so many loose ends.
Yeah, it's like I don't know
That
how
at this point you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way.
It
with
does.
This one.
I think there are just as many loose ends, but they're more like related to each other.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas in the other shows, it's like, oh, here's a thing, and here's a thing, and here's a thing.
Right. Yeah. So when I say I don't know where it's going, I don't necessarily mean that in the bad sense of how I was saying it with those other shows.
It's more like
I just don't know
what's going to happen.
Yeah. So it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited for each new episode so far.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Plus, we're making a whole thing here at our house. We got our Loki night, and I mean,
everyone loves Loki in this house. So that's a plus.
That's the only show that everybody is down to watch.
Yeah. Which is weird. Like, of all the shows, you would think this would not be one. But
yeah, it's the power of Tom Hiddleston is what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So, yeah, Loki house.
Him and Owen Wilson, man.
Right. Owen Wilson was a good addition.
Just the whole crew of them and what's her name, the hunter lady, and OB all together. It's like the perfect group mix right there.
Yeah.
Like that's a perfect character group.
I like them. So, looking forward to the last 3 episodes. We've got to wait a full 3 weeks to actually find out. So probably our next episode we'll do our final thoughts, and I think we're gonna have a guest once the finale comes around.
We will, yeah.
Hopefully, if it works out, and we will talk about the episode or the series as a whole, and then what that means for the movies that are coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's another interesting thing. We don't know what's going on right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, this show has been so like entertaining on its own. I haven't thought about that at all.
Yeah.
Like I've been more interested in, how is this going to affect the characters and stuff than the wider, what's this mean for Secret Wars or whatever, which I think is a good sign.
It's a good thing.
And that's something that I feel like gets lost a lot of the time is, what's this post-credit scene?
Right.
That's one scene from the entire movie mean for the larger scale? Like, sure, but I want to talk about the characters that the movie's actually supposed to be about.
Yeah, for sure. So it's very self-contained in that.
Yeah.
And in that sense, and that's a good thing because we kind of
like. I feel like no one was talking about where's the story for Ant-Man going next. We're so interested and invested in him. Whereas I'm like, I genuinely do want to know what's going to happen to Loki.
Right.
And Mobius and Obi.
That's
and
that's what a lot of the shows have been missing.
Yeah.
And so we're getting back to that. So that, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Good job, Loki.
Good job, writers of Loki.
Yes.
Do your thing. Get your money now.
Michael Waldron, I didn't think I would be saying this, but good job again.
All right. And the directors. I mean, the directors are doing a good job, too.
Oh, man, the scene in the first episode where it's like where Loki goes back in time, meets OB. So switching the camera back and forth between the timelines. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good scene.
No, I don't have one of those. Wait.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best scenes out of that whole series for sure. Yeah. And a good way to use time travel.
Yeah. This is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like how they did that. All right. Well, do you want to do any more specifics on this show?
Oh, so I do have one theory real quick I want to drop.
Okay. Theories.
So I think,
Theory corner.
Yeah. Woohoo. Let's do this. I don't think it's a super bold theory or anything. But thematically, the show has been doing a whole lot of like order versus chaos kind of stuff. They even like spelled it out in the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
Kang has been representing the order in the multiverse. He brings it all together. He prunes the realities that aren't supposed to be, condenses it into the sacred timeline and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Loki has consistently shown to be the chaos of the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
He and Sylvie break it open, so now it exists.
Mm-hmm.
They are the variants that always cause trouble no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you can count on that. Like, they're going to do something wrong. And that's really interesting, having them as like opposing forces. They work really well that way. As like, yeah, they're the opposites in this story.
Uh-huh.
So
which is interesting in itself, because normally the chaos is the bad,
yeah,
and the order is the good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of opposite here also.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that too, but it is that way, isn't it? Oh, this is such a good show, man. I love it. So you got that, but then because of that, it also turns them into like two sides of the same coin kind of thing. Like, they're kind of the same person in a lot of ways. They both like have very narcissistic qualities, it seems. All the kings want to be the only ruler. Like, we even see that with Victor Timely, who is he seems like a pretty decent, all right guy. He's scamming people for sure, but it's all right. He's got a good heart or whatever.
I think he's doing that to fund his projects.
He wants to do something bigger, something better for everyone. But even he is like, no, I'm not in partnerships. I'm either in the lead or
that's it.
Yeah.
You're working for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing as Loki there.
Yeah.
I just think that's very interesting. I think they're doing that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that Miss Minutes knows about Renslayer is that she's a king variant. And so the romance between her and Timely is going to be another mirror of Loki and Sylvie.
Right. That would be... I mean, I can see that.
So that's my theory at the moment.
Okay.
I think they have thematically foreshadowed that already.
Yeah. So we'll write that down, and we'll see at the end of the series how close you are to that.
How wrong am I?
Yeah. Do you think that Miss Minutes is going to finally get a body?
I hope not.
She was wild in this third episode.
What a weird character.
It was very, very awkward, and I think
everyone hated it, which makes me happy. Yeah, that seems to be the reaction everyone's had.
Yeah, I mean, it was very weird. What I was thinking is her actions toward Victor Timely and his reaction.
Yeah. He's like, nah, I'm
right,
done here.
Right, but what I'm saying is Jonathan Majors can now get a feeling, or does have a feeling, of how he has been treating people. If that's true. Allegations.
Yeah.
It's alleged. So I thought that was really funny. It's like, oh, see, you know how it feels.
Yeah. Which I think he's been doing a good job, which is a shame.
As King?
Yeah, as all the different variants.
He's been doing a good job as an actor.
Yeah, like as an actor. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a real shame that we're going to have to get rid of him.
I think this Victor Timely was a little bit over the top.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to follow him sometimes with the amount of stuttering.
Right, but that was the character.
Yeah.
And I understood it. And I don't know if he's just like that much better than everybody else, or he just was doing too much in this show. I'm not sure which one it is, but normally he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking that away from even this performance. I'm just that's just something I noticed in episode 3. So, but yeah, I just thought it was funny that he was getting that kind of whatever. All right, so we good with Loki?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
Loki's going to be the new He Who Remains, and it's going to be an orderly chaos.
That's a new theory then.
Well, I'm kind of tying that in.
Okay.
It's like, so how they're supposed to be the same, but like opposites. He's going to replace King.
Oh, okay, so that's
like,
the full theory.
Yeah, maybe even like at Secret Wars, it won't even be in this show.
That would
but
be
at
crazy.
Some point, he's gonna turn the multiverse into some sort of like, it can exist, so we can still do multiverse stories, but it's not going to be the chaos. They're always at war, incursions, whatever that it is right now.
Do you think that this is going to tie in? Now, they already finished filming it all, but there has been an announcement from Marvel that, I don't know if it was an official announcement, that there's supposed to be like a soft reboot on characters.
Mm-hmm.
You think this will tie in with that?
Probably. That's what happened in the comics. I have the Secret Wars comic over there, actually. I read it, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty interesting. So all the universes, like, collide at the end of it.
Yeah.
Or at the beginning of it, technically. And by the end of it, they're just like, yeah, all the things that people really liked from a bunch of these, like, what ifs or, like, the Ultimate Universe, how Miles Morales was the Spider-Man there.
Yeah.
They're like, we're just going to put him in the main one. It's Earth Prime now.
You just keep the ones that you like.
Yeah. So it's like Miles and Peter, same world now. They're, like, partners. So we can just do whatever we want with them now.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Once I heard
Pick and
that,
choose,
once
like,
I heard
stuff
that
that people have really liked. Put them in. Eternals, we're done with them now. No one has to remember that they exist. We can forget about that movie.
Which we kind of already did. The fact that they still don't really talk about the big hand.
Yeah, I know.
There was, at one point, there was chit-chat about it becoming wherever the X-Men stayed in the comics.
Yeah.
That's what that hand was supposed to be. But, I mean, that hasn't happened. We don't have the X-Men yet.
We'll see. Yeah.
So, but all right, well that's it for Loki, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's do this.
Let's get into our main battle.
Composer battle.
Our composer battle. That's right.
Very important.
I thought we already did that. Okay, cool. Let's do our composer battle today. Like we mentioned, Lorne Balfe versus Daniel Pemberton.
Danny P.
And you've got some credits for Lorne.
I do. I have Lorne's credits right here. A bunch of them, anyway.
Just
all of
rattle
them
through some of them.
All right. Most recently, he's got Mission Impossible, the newest one. I can't remember what it's called.
Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
Part 1
and 2. He's gonna do 2. He's doing that Argyle movie that we saw a trailer
I have no idea
for.
what that is. Argyle?
It was like.
That's like the Aquaman trailer. I do not remember that.
It was like that Kevin James Netflix spy movie mixed with Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that now. That's what it was called?
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you the name of that movie.
I only know because I have it pulled up.
Okay.
Also, the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which had a great score. Gran Turismo, which I actually liked the score for a lot. Black Adam, real banger there.
Yeah.
Did Megamind with Hans Zimmer.
I don't count that one just because it's with somebody.
Yeah, that's fair. Black Widow, which I like that one a lot. A lot of other like spy thriller kind of stuff. Terminator Genesis.
Yeah.
Pacific Rim 2.
He did some sequels.
Yeah. And his biggest, most important one, the Lego Batman movie, which is undoubtedly the best Batman movie. Like there's no arguing there. It's the best Batman movie.
Partly because of the score by Lorne.
Yes, definitely.
Darkness, no parents. That's my favorite.
Forgot about that song.
All right, what else do you have?
Yeah,
that's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going against Daniel Pemberton, which he is best known for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and
Into the
Spider-Verse, and probably the next one too, right?
Yes, he's already talked about it.
Under the Spider-Verse or
Beyond.
below it?
Yeah.
Beyond.
Spider-Man Under the Spider.
They can keep going. It's like the Homecoming stuff.
Yeah.
He also did the Enola Holmes Netflix movies, which I really liked. He did the Bad Guys animated movie.
Yeah.
What else? He did Being the Ricardos. You remember that one about
I
Lucy and Ricky Ricardo?
I thought you were gonna say B movie for a second.
No, he did
I
not.
was very interested.
He did not do
There's
that
no
one.
way he did that movie.
No, he did do the Dark Crystal though. The new stuff on Netflix also. What else did he do? Ocean's 8. So he did some spy stuff too.
Yeah. He's got some range.
He did King Arthur.
Oh,
with Charlie.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
Charlie Hunnam was in that. Not a great movie from what I heard.
Yeah.
But I did listen to the score, and I'll give my thoughts on that in a sec. So that's Daniel Pemberton.
Yeah.
Waiting for a reply from Mephisto to see who he voted for, because if we vote opposite, we're going to need a tiebreaker.
We are.
You guys feel free to throw in your votes on this too, just in case we don't get a reply on a third vote. But you want to start? You want me to start?
I'm gonna start.
Okay.
So I'm I'm going to weigh my pros and cons for both real quick, because I do have a decision.
Okay.
But I would want to give credit to both.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, we've got Pemberton, who did Spider-Verse. And like, it's Spider-Verse, guys. Even the people who weren't, like, they didn't care about movie music, walked out of Across the Spider-Verse saying, wow, that music was good.
Yeah.
He's, like, you can't deny that. And you want to talk about range.
Mm-hmm.
There's range in those movies. He gave every character an individual theme that sticks to who they are, while also tying into the main spider theme that he overlays throughout both of them.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say that's range. Although they do have their own themes, it's all within the same feeling of that movie.
Which is fair.
So,
but I would say, once again, he's able to make them all sound very drastically different. Mm-hmm. Like Spider-Man 2099 theme, very different from Spider-Man India theme, which is very different from Spider-Punk theme. Mm-hmm. But they all do feel the same. Yeah. They all still feel like Spider-Man themes, which I think is like a testament all on its own.
Yeah.
And then, still range, he did like the Enola Holmes stuff. He did King Arthur, which all also feel entirely different.
That's where I would say yes.
Yeah.
There's range right there.
And so we've got that.
Uh-huh.
But we have Lorne, who I went into this thinking, there's no way Lorne's going to win this. He's got like spy thrillers, and that's basically it. Uh-huh. Listen to him. It's really good spy thriller music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. He's got the fantasy stuff down. I also listened to the second season of The Wheel of Time.
That was
music,
really good.
Which was really, I was not expecting it to be as like weird sounding as it was, which I haven't seen the show. So I don't know like if it was good or not.
Yeah.
But the music.
And that's all we're judging right now.
Yes. It was like way more experimental sounding than I thought it was going to be. Uh-huh. It was not just like your typical, your trumpets and your violins for your fantasy stuff, your lutes or whatever. It was like Arabic singing. It was enchanting.
Yeah, it was very particular to the region of where that show or movie is taking place.
There was like a strangely large amount of electronic sounds that I was not expecting. I was like, oh, I'm interested.
Uh-huh. That calls your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Uh-huh.
My vote is Pemberton.
Okay, what made you come to that final conclusion?
It's Spider-Verse.
Just on the strength of Spider-Verse.
Yeah, like I've listened to both of those scores on repeat so many times.
Yeah,
that the final track of Across the Spider-Verse still a mainstay in like what I'm listening to. It's so good.
Okay.
Just the combination. You get the Prowler theme, which is at a higher pitch than in the first movie because of it being a younger Prowler, because it's Miles. Now, spoilers to this movie that I'm sure everyone's seen by now.
Hopefully you have, because you just got spoiled without warning.
Yeah. And then you bring in the drums because of Gwen. You bring in the main Spider-Man theme for Peter Parker. You bring in the Spot theme for like just a few seconds when he shows up on screen. It's a combination of everything all at once. Then you bring in the record scratches for Miles Morales, and it's art. Oh, it's beautiful.
Spider-Verse is one of those movies that, like you said, I mean, the music is definitely one of the things that people talk about when they come out of that theater. Not just like the animation, the story, but they're like, wow, the music was dope on there. So yeah, that's definitely a strong point for Pemberton.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about that is they don't give credit to at least I haven't seen it. I don't see the credit for the DJ that did all the scratches on that stuff. I was actually looking. I was like, who did the scratches? And I couldn't find it. Wasn't Pemberton.
It wasn't?
He got somebody to do it. I found
that's true. There's also doesn't credit the opera singer in the vulture scenes, which I don't know if we've talked about this already.
We have not talked about that.
Fun
fact.
fact.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it again. Fun fact about opera vulture shows up. So there's an opera singer.
You call him Opera Vulture.
I only said that because I couldn't think of another word.
Da Vinci Vulture?
Yeah,
I think that's
vulture.
I think that's what most people refer him
Yeah,
to. I
Da
mean, not
Vinci
that it
Vulture.
matters. I don't know that it
Paper
is
Vulture.
an official name, but
Yeah. So the opera singer in that scene, they got him on board, and he's just singing Leonardo da Vinci's Wikipedia page in Italian.
that is funny.
So they had him sing a bunch of different passages from it, and we're like, yeah, we like how this specific part sounds. We're gonna add like the tune to it. We'll have you sing it a few different times in different ways.
Yeah.
And then so it's just pieces of his
funny.
page, like it's just random words in Italian.
Yeah,
which I think is funny.
that is really funny. That's kind of the creative mind of Daniel Pemberton, though. All right, so you vote Danny.
Yes.
Okay, so first off, I'm gonna say, when you mentioned adding him into the battle, the way you were talking about him, I thought like this guy didn't have very much under his wing.
Yeah. Which I didn't think he did at the moment.
Yeah, and then I looked him up, and he's got like 100 and something credit, 186, almost 200 credits to his name. He was on the starting lineup for Gareth Edwards' first short, which, if you don't know Gareth Edwards, he directed the remake of Godzilla. He directed Rogue One.
And
The Creator.
Which I'm just realizing we haven't talked about.
No,
we're going to save that for next episode.
Yeah.
But we did watch it, and we've got thoughts.
Yeah. Actually, I think
stay tuned for that one.
We didn't talk about it. Oh, okay. But yeah, so he composed the music for his first short, which he won awards with.
Nice.
And that's kind of where Gareth got his start, and Daniel Pemberton.
Nice.
So there's that.
They should team up more. I would like to see that combination.
I think it would be good. So yeah, I was like, dude, he's actually done a lot.
Yeah.
So there was that. And then Lorne Balfe, I was like, yeah, I mean, I've seen his name around, and I remember some of his movies. And then I was listening to stuff. It's like, man,
it's good.
He's got some really good stuff.
Because massive respect to him too.
Oh, for sure.
He also has the range.
He does. Ultimately, my vote is gonna go to Daniel Pemberton.
Yeah.
And this is why. So, Lorne Balfe, good stuff. Like we mentioned, Wheel of Time. It sounds like it comes from that era. I don't remember some of the other movies at this moment, but they were all very specific to that movie, which is good. That's what you want with a composer, right?
Yeah.
But it felt very like if you need something solid, like, man, we're doing this movie about X thing.
Yeah.
I need someone that's gonna nail this and make it sound like X thing. Hey, get Lorne Balfe on the phone.
Yeah.
He's gonna knock it out of the park for you. Call him up. Let's do it. Daniel Pemberton, he can also do that.
But he's gonna elevate it a little
But
more.
he's like, but I got this extra thing that I'm just like, he's got that. If we're gonna rate it on our chili scale,
level,
he's at like 98, 99, maybe even 100, like perfect spice.
Yeah. He's got what you need.
That
you don't even know you need.
Yeah, like you said with the scratches in Spider-Verse. You didn't need to add scratches, but he's like, you know what's gonna sound good and go with the Brooklyn, New York feel of this movie? Some DJ scratches.
Yeah.
And
so good.
Boom, throw them in there. Same thing with some of the other scores that he did. Is like, yeah, this got like the bagpipes from Ireland, but I'm also gonna throw like a sound of a gong from whatever.
Yeah.
And it just makes it that much better. So that's why I was like, I gotta go with Daniel Pemberton.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had it like that.
It's so good.
Because sometimes you get. I'm gonna bring John Williams as an example. His main stuff was like earlier in his career.
Yeah.
Now, like, you don't really hear any new hits from him. But Daniel Pemberton this is later on in his career already.
Yeah, he's in his prime right now.
He's in his prime right now.
So. He's part of these like Nicholas Bertel, like they're entering their prime right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get a bunch of really good stuff in the next few years
Yeah.
from these guys, I'm sure.
So
and like Bear McCreary is part of them too. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah, I just saw that Bear McCreary did. It was a funny one. I forget what it was. It was like a.
I like him so much.
So
he just does anything.
He did. It was an animated movie. Not like Paws of Fury, I think is what it was.
Was it really?
So the same people that did Rock Dog, I think, right? Did Paws of Fury?
Did they?
I think so. And he did that movie. I was like, what are you doing, Bear?
Bear is like the modern Mark Mothersbaugh, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
He's gonna
take
I'm
gonna have to listen to him
once that place.
Once he comes up in the battle, I'm gonna have to really check him out. But
yeah, because he is in there.
I do like him. He did Godzilla.
Yeah.
So
win.
Okay, so Daniel Pemberton, he's gonna move on.
Yeah.
No
doesn't matter what he votes.
Yeah, no matter what he votes. If you guys still want to vote, go ahead and vote. Let us know.
Yeah.
We want you to do that anyway. Yeah, it's just everybody's just gonna vote Daniel Pemberton in. We'll just be like, yeah, see, we were right. So he's gonna move on to the next battle, which is gonna be good because we've got in the next rounds we've got.
I'm noticing Elfman. A lot of like experimental people are the ones who are going.
We've got Ludwig.
Yeah. In
there, we've got Mothersbaugh.
I just had the list pulled up.
Yeah. It's gonna start getting really, really, really tough. So, good job, Daniel Pemberton. Oh yeah, Giacchino's gonna be in there. I don't know how that's gonna go once those guys start going at each other.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna need you guys to help vote on this stuff.
These might be 2-week long.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. All right, so you want to announce the next contestants?
The next ones I'm very excited for.
All right.
Because I think these are like exact same caliber of legendary. Oof. But I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
All right, we got John Williams.
Oh, okay.
Versus Joe Hisaishi.
I don't know who that is.
Hisaishi? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I don't know. What is
That's the Studio Ghibli guy.
Oh.
I think these are like the same guy, but our Eastern and our Western counterparts.
Very different genres. Wow, yeah. That's going to be an interesting one, too.
So I'm excited about this one.
All right. Well, there you go. Start doing your homework. You can check our playlist on Spotify, Clash of the Composers.
Put that up here.
Yeah, we'll put the link.
I said it like that.
We'll put the link maybe. But it's under TallBeing, Clash of the Composers. You can check out a lot of the composers that are in the battle.
Yes.
But like I do, I go to each composer and listen to their stuff.
Yeah.
So feel free to do that. However you want to do it, but let us know who you think should win, why they should win, all that stuff. Let us know, and we'll throw it in too. It's 3 of us normally.
Yeah.
But if we get 10, 15 people voting, we'll throw those votes in there too.
Yeah.
And then we'll decide that way. So we might all vote the same, but then 10 other people vote another. We'll go with the 10.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll use a majority decision.
Yeah. it's our podcast.
Yeah. No,
but we do interaction.
Yeah, we do want you guys to be involved. So feel free.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for the mini battle. Yeah. Let's get to our main battle. That's our music. All right, let's get to it. The tale of the tape. Judge Dredd versus Dredd. So Judge Dredd came out in 1995. It is rated R. Runtime of 1 hour 36 minutes. Directed by Danny Cannon, and it stars Sylvester Stallone, Diane Lane, which is weird to me. And Armand Asante for the main credits. The music is by Alan Silvestri, which is also a surprise. And again, going up against Dredd, that came out in 2012, also rated R. We're going to have a battle of the rated R.
Are we?
Rated R-iest.
Didn't get my joke.
Okay. Man, sometimes I'm slow at that stuff. 1 hour and 35-minute runtime. A little bit shorter.
1 minute.
A little bit.
That is crazy. They had to fit the full Who song into or Cure. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention it was Alan Silvestri and the Cure. So.
Oh, the Cure and many others.
Yeah, that's true. But the Cure.
They had Dredd songs.
It's very weird that they were on that movie. So yeah, the Dredd was directed by Pete Travis is credited. We just found this out a little earlier today. Pete Travis is credited as the director in the movie, but according to an interview with Karl Urban, who stars in the movie, he says Alex Garland actually directed the thing. So not sure what happened there. For some reason, Pete Travis was sidelined during the movie or after the movie or something, and I guess Alex stepped up. I don't know, but Pete Travis is credited. Stars, like I said, Karl Urban, Olivia Thirlby, and Lena Headey as the main villain. The music was done by Paul Leonard Morgan.
Yes. I've never heard of that guy.
Yeah, he hasn't done a whole lot of
like big stuff.
No, not at all. Actually, he didn't have a whole lot of credits in general.
Yeah,
but he did the music for this.
And we'll get to that.
I think he did the video game Cyberpunk, if I remember right.
Yeah, he did do that.
So, okay, so that's the tale of the tape, the comparison. Let's get to it.
Yeah. So I got some categories here. Let's go through these. So, first off, we're gonna start.
Who had the rated R-iest movie?
We'll start with that. Sure. I'm not going to count points to this.
Okay.
Because I think this is just a comparison.
Yeah. Which was funny because, so one came out in 95.
Yeah.
The other 2012. Both rated R.
The 95 in a modern day would be a very soft PG-13.
I would say it would be a solid PG-13, but yes, PG-13. Because there was some blood.
I guess some.
There was
like Puss in Boots had blood.
Yeah, but it was animated, so this is real life. Yeah. I think there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Plus there was some bad words in there. Not a lot. I don't think that there was any F-bombs, if I remember right. But I think there was a few other bad words in there. Yeah. So I would say it's solid PG-13. Yeah. Maybe soft. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. It was PG-13.
Yeah, it was PG-13 for sure, compared to the 2012, which was definitely a rated R movie. Lots of blood, lots of exploding things.
Yeah, not just buildings.
No, not just buildings. Actually, there was some exploding buildings. Exploding of buildings.
Of buildings. Parts of buildings.
Lots of parts that were exploded.
Yeah.
Lots of bad words.
Yeah.
So definitely a rated R movie. It gets the win on the rated R if we're doing that.
So if that counts as a point, you decide.
Yeah. All right. So let's go with our actual categories.
Yes. Real quick, do you have anything that you want to give it either one a point for?
Okay. Yeah.
Because they're very different movies, despite being based on the same character and comic.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting.
Okay,
so if you have anything like a little this doesn't really fit into a category.
Yeah.
You want to add it, give it a point for it.
You want to give a quick synopsis of each movie so they can see how they're different?
Yeah. So the first, the 95, follows Judge Dredd, played by Sylvester Stallone, the man. Mm-hmm. One of the judges, which are the cops and executioners in Mega City 1. We'll get to that in a second. And I can't think of the plot. He's framed for a crime he did not commit. And then he goes on a journey of self-discovery and learns many truths about his mysterious past that he did not know, and must confront an old enemy from them.
There you go. That's a good one. Yeah. All right.
So
Karl
Urban, my man. I love Karl Urban. And that follows the same character of Judge Dredd. He has to take on a new recruit and assess her if she's worthy to be one of the judges in this fallen city ruined by crime. and they have to take down a drug lord in a giant tower, which they must slowly ascend and make their way through without dying while being locked inside with no way out.
Yeah. It's definitely a shoot 'em up type movie.
Yeah.
Which I like those. A lot of action, and a lot of shooting.
Yeah. It's very tense.
Yeah. Yeah. So very different movies. And what I like about the Judge Dredd version that wasn't in the Dredd version was one, the robot.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked great.
For a 95 movie,
Yeah.
this robot was awesome looking.
Yeah.
The movements and just the actual look. Like, it didn't look fake.
Yeah, I know. It looked like, oh, that's a robot. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
It looked
I
like
mean,
a 90s robot, but a robot.
I liked the design of it,
Yeah,
though.
me too.
I thought it was
It
cool.
looked like a comic robot.
It did.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's based off of actual
I don't know.
robots.
So
in the
neither
comic.
of us have read the comics.
Right.
So we cannot judge them as adaptations.
No.
That's why we needed our comic guy here.
The only
But
thing...
because he's absent, we get to judge these as films.
Yes, we're going to be the Scorsese for these movies. So
Cinema.
The only thing I know about Judge Dredd is that it takes place in the dystopian future. The judges take out or they carry out sentence and everything all on their own.
Yeah.
And they don't take off the helmets
Yes.
like Mandalorians. Yeah. That's really the only thing I know about Judge Dredd. So I can't really use that, to judge any of it. So,
Judge.
so yeah, the robot I liked. I liked. There was another thing that was really cool in there. Oh, what's his name?
Oh yeah.
He's got like the big mechanical arm.
Yeah.
He
remember his
also,
name.
for a 95-year character,
Yeah. It's technological marvel.
was very
Yeah.
very good looking. He had like a metal face, like
Yeah.
almost like Cyborg
Yeah. It's a good looking character.
or like Kano.
Yeah, like Kano.
And
better looking than Kano.
he was better looking than Kano. Yeah, I mean, he was this big old arm. Yeah, I liked him. I liked that character. So if you want to give points for that, I don't know if you want to count that as 1 or 2.
I'll count as one. Character design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then those stand out to me for the 95 version.
Mm-hmm.
For the 2012, the slow-mo.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was used pretty cool. At first, it threw me off because I didn't remember why it was doing that. I was like, oh, here we go, Zack Snyder. But then there was actual reason to use the slow-mo.
Makes sense, yeah.
And it was a drug that they developed and they're passing out, and it makes you
experience things
in slow motion.
Slow motion.
Yeah. Nothing else in slow motion, just like in your head, everything's moving in slow motion, which is wild.
It was a great drug concept.
Yeah. So I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Fair.
I think that stand out to me from that one. Everything else, I think we have a category for, so I'm going to save for that.
All right. So I'm going to give...
So it's 1-1 right now.
Yeah, I'm going to give a point to either one also. So 2012, it was, like I said, a very tense movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, this is some good, like, pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just really well paced. It didn't feel too long. I was like, an hour and a half? That's not bad.
Oh, it was quick.
Yeah. This is shorter than I thought, like a big budget kind of comic book movie was going to be. And it didn't waste any of its time, I don't think. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're in the building, like in the tower, the entire time I was like, I want them to get out of here.
Right.
Someone's gonna die.
Yeah. And at one point they did get out.
Yeah.
But they
were
were
like, stay out.
They were just way out.
Yeah. The squeeze and release of it
was
just really well done. So I'm gonna give it a point for getting those emotions out of me. Good job.
Okay. All right, yeah.
It wasn't scary. It was just tense. It's thrilling.
It's like you have your jaw
get
clenched
out
the
of
whole
there
time.
now. Yeah.
I remember the first time I watched it, I was like that. I was like, oh man, like this is, I would notice that I'm kind of tensed also.
And now I remember what my point for the other one
Nice.
was. And it was that it was the opposite. It was just a fun time. I haven't had this much fun in a movie in a while.
Well, we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing here in a sec.
Yeah. Like Guardians of the Galaxy are similar, I guess, in that like, oh, this is just a good time. This is a fun little adventure. But those are like, they're jerking emotions out of you all the time. This is, on the contrary to what Amazon recommendations would say, not quite emotional. It was just a fun adventure, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
It didn't really seem to want to be a whole lot more than that. It wasn't aiming for anything above that.
Right. So, obviously, when this movie came out, I was around for it. And I remember people did not like it because of that. Because they're like, this is not like the comic books. He took his helmet off, for one.
Yeah, he did
And
every chance he got.
And people were very upset about that. Actually, once it was off, when it was off.
I'm sure they were mad about that, yeah.
So there was a whole lot of, dislike because of that. And just the whole, like, fun part of it, which is why the 2012 came out and we're like, nah, we're going to do it like it's supposed to be done, I guess.
Yeah.
I do remember that happening when it came out in 95. And I think I saw it around that time. I must have seen it around that time.
What did you think of it at the time? Do you remember?
At the time, I thought it was fine. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't think it was a great flick. But I wasn't Scorseseing it either. I wasn't like, this is not a movie. This is
ruining cinema.
Yeah, I wasn't like that. And since I didn't know the comic, I couldn't take that into account. So I was just like, yeah, it was all right. Not Sly's best work. But it was a Sly movie too.
Decent enough. Good job.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into one of the categories then. Unless you got another one.
Nah.
So is it 2 and 2?
Yeah. So we're just gonna say 0-0 to keep it simple.
Okay, that's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't advance or put any behind. Huh?
No, we just got some thoughts out.
Okay.
All right. So we've got the character of Dredd. Who played Dredd better?
The best. All right.
Not how was Dredd in the movie? Like which actor was the better Dredd?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give it
In the movie though.
Yeah, but like the story of Dredd, like his arc that he goes through. That's the next category. This is just the actor who was playing Dredd better.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give it to Karl Urban.
I think you have to give it to Karl Urban.
Yeah. Like he kept the helmet on and still was Dredd the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, they were both very serious. I don't think either of them smiled in any of the movie.
Probably not.
There was a lot of grimacing and a lot of face making, but I don't think any of them were smiles.
No.
I actually didn't like Stallone when he was Dredd with the helmet on.
Yeah.
Once he took the helmet off,
it was like, okay, I can kind of believe this character.
then I was like I was like, okay, this is, I know this Stallone. I like this Stallone.
Yeah. The way he stood in every scene. Like he had his hands on his hips all the time, and he was like squared up.
Yeah, all the time.
You there? I am the law.
It was very weird.
Yeah, very like blocky is the only word I can really think of.
It kind of goes with the design of that whole movie because everything seemed kind of blocky. The bikes were kind of blocky. The helmet is really big. So I kind of went with it, but it was weird. She just chest out. Like, yeah, we get it.
I knew you'd say that.
So yeah, I go with Karl Urban.
Yeah, definitely.
So next one. Are you going to keep score? Like, how are you going to do this? Or are you just going to memorize it?
I'm just going to memorize it.
Okay.
It's 2-0.
You guys, help keep score.
Help us out. 2-0. We're good.
Okay.
All right. His character arc. Which one actually was better? Like, the story of Dredd, which one had a better one?
Yeah.
Stallone.
I'm also going to say Stallone.
Yeah. Because I kept waiting for it in the new one. I was like, what is this guy's deal?
Yeah.
Like, who is Dredd? And I feel like he was never anything other than cool cop guy who doesn't take off his helmet. It's like how I feel about Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone really loved that character because we didn't know anything about him.
Right.
And so they kept asking for a Boba Fett story, not realizing that would take away most of what you really loved about him.
Sure.
I think this movie did a pretty decent job of still making him great. Like, yeah, I still like Dredd after this. I still like his Dredd. I would watch another his Dredd movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I preferred Stallone's because I get to know him as a character.
Right.
a
He
little
had
bit
an
more,
actual story arc.
which is why I don't mind Book of Boba Fett personally. I like what they did with
Well,
him.
as far as that show, the thing is, I don't mind getting a backstory, but it has to be intriguing enough. It has to be executed
Also
well
fair,
enough.
yeah.
And I don't think that Boba did that.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, this was not good.
I'm not going to say that show was great, but I don't think it's the pile of garbage that a lot of people make it out to be.
I think it's probably at least a small pile of garbage.
Nah. Kenobi, on the other hand, that's a different story.
Also a pile of garbage?
Yeah, that one is.
Yeah.
Other than like,
The final scene?
yeah.
The battle, at least? Yeah. Yeah, that was another show I didn't like very much. But
Anyway.
yeah, that's a whole other thing. But I did like Stallone's story because he had an actual story arc where they set him up at the beginning, even with the two other judges, like, oh, we need backup. And then he shows up, like, then you get like, oh, this guy he means something.
Yeah.
He's important.
Yeah.
As if you didn't know that because it's Stallone.
Yeah.
But they needed to set it up in the movie, and they did.
Yeah. It was
So
a good
there's-
job of that.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
this
that,
is
and
the
they're like,
guy you
yeah, we need to
call.
wait for backup. He's like, I
am
am the backup.
Yeah, whereas with the newer one, it was a lot more, oh, it's Dredd. Everyone just kept saying that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're the
They knew who
Dredd.
he was already. Like, he
Yeah.
had a name in the streets.
Yeah. But I didn't get the sense of like, oh, this is a really important.
You only get that throughout the movie. Like, okay. Especially when the other judges show up,
Yeah.
and then they're like, oh, it's Dredd. It's going to cost you more money for us to do this.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, so I guess Dredd is really good at his job.
Yeah. I just wish we got that a little earlier in the movie.
Right. It was
More
just
set.
spread out
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing. So yeah, I like that. And then, once he takes off the helmet and then he's got an actual like story to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. So yeah, definitely Stallone wins the better Dredd story.
2-2.
Okay.
Kind of can't believe that already. All right. Which one had the better of the sidekick characters?
The
Because they both had one. Technically.
the female assistant,
Yeah, the psychic
uh,
or what's his name? Joe Schmo.
Judge Hershey. What? Stallone's help?
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
That's definitely who I was thinking about
Who were you
when I
thinking?
wrote down sidekick character.
Who are you thinking would be the sidekick? Oh, Rob Schneider.
Yeah. I couldn't remember his
Oh,
name.
man, I totally forgot. Rob,
He was excellent.
he was funny. Yeah.
Like, I
okay,
don't think
can
I
we
think he's
combine
kind,
them?
I think
he
he's
was like
kind of
half
hit
of
and
it.
miss. That's true. I think he's kind of hit and miss most of the time.
Mhm.
Like I think he's pretty funny. Or I could not stand his character. He was funny in this one.
He was. He did.
He
a good
wasn't
job in
over
this
the
one.
top
Mhm.
like a lot of like funny sidekick characters tend to be.
Yeah.
Felt kind of sincere a lot of the time.
But it also didn't feel like he's just there for comedy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It felt
it's
a
lot
little,
of
a little more natural.
yeah, it's that poetic justice that he talks about. Like
Yeah.
Dredd gets
Mhm.
framed for something he
helped.
didn't do.
It helped with Dredd's
That's-
story.
Yeah. Man, that's just good writing. That's how you bring that character back.
Hey, 95 was lit.
Yeah. Good job. Was Mortal Kombat 95?
94, I think.
Oh, okay. They weren't lit quite yet.
No, not yet. But that was the build. That was
Yeah.
that was a stepping
We
stone.
were almost there.
So are we gonna combine those two? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
sure.
feel like Judge Hershey, which was Diane Lane,
Mm-hmm.
she was more in like the first part and then the end, and then
Yeah, and
Rob
then
Schneider. I don't
he
remember what his
was-
character name was. Kind of in the middle.
Yeah. He was where she wasn't.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 against 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit unfair, but
Yeah,
think
but
the newer one.
the Dredd version was a mutant. So
True. That was bizarre.
That was wild.
'Cause
I didn't know that there was mutants
Yeah,
in
I
Dredd.
did not. So I came in from the old one, and it was like genetic cloning is the craziest thing that's in this that we're doing in this universe. I was like, okay, I can kind of get on board with that.
Yeah.
Like it's introduced in a pretty simple way. Everything about this, it just fit in. It felt right.
Yeah.
And then they just go mutants in the one. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was a regular thing because everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, so you're a mutant, huh?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I am."
I am.
Okay,
actually.
cool.
Yeah. So it took me a second to like acclimate to that. I was like, oh,
And that-
especially because the city just looks like a really big normal city.
I don't know if it looked normal, but it was
Like from
big.
the skyline, it looked like
Okay.
just a realistic kind of city, just on a massive scale.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're doing a bit of a more grounded, grittier looking thing than the wild '90s aesthetic of.
Of the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got used to it after a little bit, and they kept it grounded.
Right,
And for
I
the most part,
figured-
consistent, which was interesting to me.
Well, since it took place in just one location
Yeah.
with these one group of people, I think it was pretty easy to keep that
Yeah.
that consistency. I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I really liked the mutant girl,
Yeah, I did too. I thought her
Uh,
character was good. And she was like,
and I liked Rob Schneider. Okay, I'm gonna go with mutant girl. I don't remember her name.
I don't
She was
either.
the rookie,
Anderson.
Anderson.
I
that's
only
right.
remember because we watched this last night. If it was another day removed, I would not remember.
Yeah, I don't even remember we watched it last night. But I'm gonna go with her just because the Diane. If we're gonna combine the characters, the Diane Lane character, Judge Hershey.
Bit flatter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she felt a little out of place. Just
Ended up as a
knowing-
love interest, and I was like, where did that come from? Yeah.
Oh, she wanted to be a love interest. He was like, I got work to do. I gotta go out to work. Woman.
Absolutely. Yeah. Respect Dredd there.
Yeah, that was funny. But also from like stuff that I know Diane Lane from is not this type of stuff. So to see her in an action
Yeah.
kind of movie with
So
Stallone
this
was,
is off-putting.
was very weird. So I'm gonna go with Mutant Girl. I give my points to Dredd.
But Rob Schneider,
Rob
though.
Schneider. Rob Schneider.
It's a big draw. Good Rob Schneider is a big draw.
One of his better roles
Yeah.
in Judge Dredd,
Can't argue.
1995.
Can't argue with that. Because I really like him being the sidekick in like, because he was arrested for a crime he didn't commit.
Yeah.
And then Dredd is forced to be with him after the same thing happens.
Oh.
But on the other hand, the mentor and rookie thing is it's always fun if done
Yeah.
well. And I think it was done pretty
If we
well.
go through her story real quick, her story arc, which actually we mentioned it. So a story arc usually has,
Beginning, middle,
and then you see a change,
yeah.
right? You literally hear her story arc. Like she basically looks at the camera and is like, here's where I changed characters,
Yeah.
which was really funny.
Great.
But yeah, so like she's the
Dredd
rookie.
does the same thing.
He does?
Yeah.
Where?
Wait, where you finish? Because I
Okay.
want to make sure.
Okay, so her story is she's the rookie, has never been out in the field, so first time going in the field, very scared, kind of, skittish.
Yeah.
And then she does her first kill. She gets a little more like, all right, I got to survive.
Then she finds out that she killed this lady that helped them. It's her husband. And it's like, that's unfortunate.
Right. And then she has the actual change where she's like, yeah, I'm ready. And he's like, you look ready.
You look ready.
And
That's a callback to what he said earlier.
But then at the end, she's like, all right, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out. I actually don't want any of this. So I don't know if that'll help your decision any.
It
But
does.
that's kind of her story.
Yeah.
Is like she wants it, gets used to it, and then she's like, I don't want this.
Yeah. which is a good.
So she's
character
got a
arc.
story
I
arc.
like that kind of arc a lot. Of like, I thought I wanted this, turns out I don't.
Oh,
I'm gonna give it to her too, because I like that. And Rob Schneider does not have that kind of arc, unfortunately. His is.
he's just a bad guy. Well, not even. More of a bad place, or wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, and then he gets the chance to help. So whoopee,
Yeah,
yay! I'm
yeah.
helping you guys.
He was like a small time criminal.
Yeah,
Is what he was.
yeah. He just got out of jail too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got out of jail. Just happened to end up in the building where the real bad guys were, and he
Yeah.
got caught up in that.
Yeah.
Went back to jail,
Yeah, such an unfortunate case.
and then met up with Judge Dredd when he went to jail.
Yeah,
So,
man, I love that kind of character too.
I
But
mean,
I'm gonna give it to
inclined to
Anderson.
switch my vote.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Anderson too,
Okay.
just because I like that arc a lot. But on the subject of arcs, I think Dredd's is so funny. Because
His arc?
Yeah, because his arc can be summed up in 4 sentences.
All right, go for it.
You don't look ready. You look ready. What were the other 2 things he said? Wait, no. Those are the 2 sentences. You can sum it up in 2 sentences. Those are sentences. And there's like, he did an arc now of he believes in his rookie student.
Oh, because
That's
it's
his
in
arc.
a different context each time.
Yeah. And I said it when it happened. I said character arc.
Yeah.
Because that's what I
That's
can
what it
see
was.
what they're trying to do. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, they went through this journey together, went through some hard times. You can definitely see his opinion about her is slowly changing.
Right.
But you
And then
can't-
he
you
says
can't.
it.
Yeah.
Just so you are sure that this is where the character arc happens.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't like his art. It felt very.
well, he was the same character.
Yeah, he didn't change. I don't think a whole lot.
No, he didn't. He just, I guess, had some sympathy maybe toward her.
Yeah.
By the end, but
His change was he just warmed up to her a little bit more.
Right.
It was like, okay, we went on a mission together. You're
and
cool.
I don't know that I would call that a character arc.
Yeah.
But that's why
it
Stallone
was.
won that.
Yeah, especially because it didn't seem like he was really lacking a whole lot before.
Yeah.
It's just another thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's
And-
not even. We weren't voting on Dredd.
We weren't.
So-
We're just slandering him even more.
Okay, so Mutant Girl wins.
Yes, so that's 4-2 as long as you're still.
Yeah. I still vote Anderson.
All right. Now, this is a really important one.
Okay.
The better villain character.
This is tough.
No, it's not. It's the old one. It's 95. It's Rico.
Rico Armando Santi or whatever how you say his name was fantastic.
Yes.
He was almost Terry Silver
Almost yeah.
level.
And I love Terry Silver. I love Karate Kid 3.
So I thought Terry Silver was a little over the top.
But I love a good over the top villain.
On the spice meter for me, he might be like a 110.
Yeah.
Right? Like good villain, but a little over the top, a little too spicy. Lost a little flavor.
Yeah.
Rico.
Armando
Armando Sant.
This is a madman.
He was really good. He was
He was like, you can tell
he was right
could
there at the
be
over the
over the top, but he's reeling it in.
Yeah.
Is what you feel. You can feel it all the time. Like he wants to kill everyone in this room right now,
right.
but he's stopping himself.
Yeah, he was awesome in this movie. I've seen him in some other stuff, but I don't know that I've ever seen him as a main character like that.
Yeah.
I think he's always kind of a side guy. But
He's got the chops.
he was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, he says a line at the very beginning.
When he escapes jail?
Yeah. Oh, he's like, what? The guy who's like, who accidentally frees him. He's like, what's the meaning of life? He says, it ends. Shoots him.
But those are the kind of this movie has
So many
one-liners
We'll get to that. We'll
all
get to
over
that.
the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of them, and it was perfect for the 90s.
Yeah. He said, yeah, it ends. I think his first line is like, you're talking to a ghost right now or something, which is such a cool way of saying everyone
when he
thinks
turns around.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing the back of him first.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and it's like this intense face.
Such a great way to just say, one, this guy is crazy. Two, everyone thinks he's dead. Like that's just good information. Like
Right. They give you what you need to know right there.
Yeah.
It was well done.
Yeah. And then when he has the judge gun, and he's like, "You're a judge." And he's like, "What do you know?" Shoots him.
Yeah.
Man, I love him so much.
But man, he was ruthless because he didn't need to kill that guy.
No, he didn't.
But he was just ruthless. They did a good job with him, just building him up to be this ruthless character.
Yeah.
And he nailed that part.
Strangely enough, just as with Loki, this movie also had a central theme of order and chaos.
Yeah.
And these two guys that are the same but opposites.
Yeah. We'll get to the same in a second, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so contrary, or not contrary.
Opposing?
But, yeah, the opposing one is Lena Headey as the villain in Dredd.
Yes.
So we've got, I kind of is contrary because we have the guy villain and now we have a girl villain.
Yeah. Who has like the exact opposite energy, like
very calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's more like sadistic, more she's thinking about it, and you can see her thinking about it.
She's like, I'm not gonna kill you because you can still do stuff for me.
Yeah. Crazy with the scar on her face.
Yeah.
Well, I thought she was really good too.
I also liked her villain too. I didn't at first, and then I was like, man, this is a competent villain.
Yeah.
Like,
worst thing she did though, when they had Dredd cornered, and they're like, you know what? Let's just shoot up the building from the other side.
Yeah. No one go over there.
Yeah.
No one go over there.
This is foolproof. Let's just shoot it up. That was you had him cornered.
Yeah.
Just go up to him.
Maybe not competent, but
that's
very, very smart most of the time.
Yeah. That was the worst thing she could have done.
Yeah.
But made for a very cool scene.
Yeah.
Like,
needed a big action sequence.
Yeah, you want a shoot 'em up movie, they're shooting things up right there. So I'm gonna give my vote to Rico.
Yeah.
Because I think that as a whole, he made more sense.
Yeah.
He didn't do a crazy thing like that.
He didn't. He just did all the other crazy things.
A crazy thing that a villain would do, though.
Yeah. We're not gonna use the old DNA. We're gonna use my DNA.
Yeah, but that was a plan.
I need an army.
Yeah,
man,
that was a good plan.
I love him as all the villains in that movie. Most of those villains, because he has his robot.
Yeah,
and then we've got the council member dude, which was great.
But again, like Rico and that dude,
yeah,
he was like, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
He wasn't like,
dead.
You know what? Let's just put you in a corner. Let's tie you up. No, he's like,
kill him.
You're out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not messing with you.
Yeah, no.
And not just kill him either. The robot tear his limbs from his body.
Yeah. Then the head last.
Yeah. I want him to see.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Rico all the way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because you got him as a villain. You got the council guy who also a villain, but entirely different set of motivations and what he's trying to do, which I always love when they do that, because it's like, yeah, they're villains, but they're both against the good guy, but they're also against each other.
Yeah.
So it just makes for some great conflict.
And
you got
the
cannibals.
Is gonna win.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, the Leatherface family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not in it for like 10 minutes, maybe at most. But they still like just more great villains with the whole. They don't align with any of the other villain motivations. They're their own thing.
They're more villains because they're trying to survive because they're outside of the city.
Yeah.
So they're just like, we need food.
Yeah.
And we don't know you,
people.
So we're gonna eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were good. They were interesting. That's why I liked them.
Yeah.
And again, that's where they had the cyborg dude.
Adding in like the religious kind of stuff.
Oh, that was good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just adds like another layer to them. That's like, it could have been, oh yeah, they're just going to eat people.
Right.
Because they're trying to survive. But now it's like, yes, thank you, Lord, for sending us our food.
Yeah. They were wild. I liked them.
Yeah.
Interesting
good
villain for sure.
Yeah.
But we weren't voting on villains. Oh yeah.
We were. Well, okay. Main villain.
Main villain is
I just
Rico.
wanted to add.
Mama.
The other one, yeah.
Okay, so you vote for who then?
Also Nico. 100.
Rico.
Yeah.
Rico, right?
I think it's Rico.
Yeah. Okay, so that's another 2.
Yeah.
I think we're tied up again.
Yeah, it's
so
4-4.
We'll go back to 0-0.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, every time we're tied,
okay.
0-0, we'll reset this.
All right.
That'll make it easier to keep track.
There you go.
All right. Best use of the Judge gun, which probably does have a name, but I couldn't.
Yeah, it's called. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a gun which I've seen this idea in other movies too, where you not call it, but you could tell it what kind of rounds to use.
Lawgiver.
The Lawgiver.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Well, the Lawgiver. Then they have the the law motorcycles.
The law masters.
Law masters are the motorcycles.
Yeah.
I like those names, but it can also be a little cheesy once everything's law.
Yeah.
But
I think 2 is the maximum amount of things you can do.
once you start my law badge and my law helmet,
Yeah, then it's
my law knee pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Lawgiver, you can say, set it to stun.
Yeah.
It's similar to like Spider-Man when he's
Yeah,
calls on his
that's
suit.
the stuff you can do, yeah.
I
I think
don't-
Batman's had a lot of stuff like that too.
Batman?
Probably.
I don't think Batman's had that.
No?
I think he just always has different gadgets.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember him like saying, like Hawkeye has with his arrows, he'll use certain ones.
Yeah.
So that same idea,
Yeah.
which I always think that's cool.
Yeah. Use the same thing, but it does different things.
Right. It has the ability to do different things. I think it's a cool weapon.
Yeah.
And they both showed a variety of ways to use them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote Karl Urban,
Mm-hmm.
Dredd, because of the judges that come in, the 4 judges that are bad. They also use it.
Yeah.
And
it's not just like, we have guns. They also use the different kinds of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they use it a little more, because I was thinking throughout the movie, why doesn't anybody else use that?
Yeah. And then when what's his name tries to use Dredd's gun or
his arm
the
blows up.
Anderson's gun, when yes, his arm gets blown off, so it, like is consistent with that, but also how he's like admiring it. He's like, I wish I had one of these.
Oh,
'Cause,
yeah.
like it's a really
It's a
good,
cool gun,
yeah.
especially if you're a
It's a
bad guy.
very
and you can use one
valuable
those.
kind of thing. Yeah.
So, just real quick, this gun is coded to a specific person's DNA.
Yeah.
So like, if I had the gun, it would every time I grab it, it would read my DNA. If he tried, we're related, so he'd probably be able to use it also,
yeah.
which played into the movie.
Yeah.
Which was cool. But if somebody else tried to use my gun, they wouldn't be able to because it's different DNA, and the gun basically blows up, and wherever they're holding it, they're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
So I thought that's cool about that gun. And anyway, that was a side note.
Yeah. Just to explain that.
Yeah. But so I thought it was cool that that's how they were able to get Dredd that one time. He switched his gun to armor piercing rounds,
It's like,
and then shot him through
he's
the
dead
wall.
now. Yeah.
So I vote Dredd 2012.
I also vote Dredd 2012.
Oh, okay. Why?
Same reasons for the most part, and then
Oh.
also I like that whenever he uses each type of ammunition, it's gone. He can use it one time, and
I
like
think
he
it was
has to reload it.
Yeah.
But each that
That's
special
true.
time he uses it. He can't use that kind again.
Right.
And how it stays consistent of like he tries to use the different kinds. It's like
And it
nope,
says
you don't have
empty.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. It never said anything about that in the Stallone version.
He
He just
just
didn't
uses
use them
them.
anymore.
Yeah.
That means he's a smarter Dredd. He knows when he doesn't have ammunition.
True.
So
True.
maybe we should. Well, we already voted for him anyway. That's
Yeah.
better. No, we didn't. We voted Karl Urban.
True.
Whatever.
It's fine
Whatever.
now.
All right. So
So
2 points.
2
for,
points. 2-0 because
Okay.
we reset again.
All right. Next.
All right. This is a good one.
Okay.
This is going to be, I think, a little divisive.
Okay.
Which one better used? I am the law.
This was easy for me
All right.
because I've probably still said this at least in my head
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of times. We even did it a few episodes back, or was it the last
think
episode?
it's the
Maybe
last
when we
one.
talked about doing this. Stallone.
Stallone's, yeah.
Easily.
It's iconic.
Yeah, you broke the law. He's like, I didn't break the law. I am the law.
Yeah.
That
I
was
love how often he says it.
He wants to make sure you know.
Yeah.
He said a lot of things often.
Yeah. I think it worked a lot though, because once again works into his character of that's how he identifies himself. You know, his whole life is I am the law.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden it being like, no, you're not the law. You've been arrested. It
And he's like, that's
him.
not possible. I am that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
So, I was really thinking Urban, just because he only uses it once and it's a pretty good use of it.
Yeah, it snuck in there. You're not really expecting it.
Yeah, and it doesn't like pause or whatever when he says it.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's the thing. That was cool.
Yeah, he said the thing.
Yeah.
Now,
It's you realize he said the thing, not the movie's telling you he said the thing.
Right. But in my defense of picking Stallone, I don't even remember the context around him saying.
Yeah, I want to say it's when he hacks the microphone and like talks into the building, but that might not be it.
Why would he say it
I
then?
don't remember. And we watched this last night.
Yeah. I don't. It wasn't a bad way of using it.
No, I don't.
But not as memorable.
No,
Not as 95. I remember it still now, even before watching it a few days ago.
Yeah.
I still remember that line. So.
All right. Yeah. Stallone.
All right. We're back to 0 then.
This is close.
It is close. I bet you you guys did not think this was going to be close.
No.
So, surprise. All right. What's next on the category?
All right. Which one had the better overall world? So like the design of it and how world builds around everything.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this opportunity
Okay.
to give us the iconic imagery of Mega City 1
Yeah.
on the East Coast.
This was from Judge Dredd.
Yes, 1995.
Yeah.
We get like a map in one scene of the United States as it was, and the continent as it is now. On the East Coast, we've got Mega City 1. On the West Coast, Mega City 2, which I would be interested to see. Is it different looking? I don't know.
Yeah.
We've got in the middle the Cursed Earth, which is all like barren desert. No one lives there for the most part.
That's where the cannibals are.
Yeah. And then down below, Texas!
Don't mess with Texas. You can't mess with Texas. I wonder if the director and writer is from Texas or something. But that was funny. I didn't notice it the first time.
No one mentions it.
No.
It's just on the map. Because those are the only letters on the map is, here's where this is. Here's what the other city is. Here's in the middle. Texas is over there too, by the way.
It's holding strong, Texas.
Is it
Good
a
job.
country? Is it still a state? Is it a mega city?
We don't know.
No one knows.
We don't know. We'll have to get the backstory on that. Maybe it is part of the comics.
Maybe. I'll have to look into that.
Let us know. Because that's an interesting one. Okay, so that's that.
So yeah, what's our vote?
Okay.
For Texas alone, we get from that one scene, without anyone telling us, we understand there is another mega city. We understand Texas still exists somehow.
Yeah, it's its own sovereign nation
Yeah.
at this point.
And like I'm committed to the old one.
Okay.
Not just for that. I liked the look of it more. Like I like the stylized stuff. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
It's a very 90s style. It looks very 90s. It's the only word I can really use.
Yeah. I mean, I think all those movies at that time there was a certain look to them.
Yeah, movies
it's
now
just
have
what
the
they
same
could
look
do.
to 'em, yeah.
So that makes sense. And if we're talking about world building, I think you have to give it to Judge Dredd. Because the new one, although you do get this feeling of grittiness and
We don't
and
explore
crime
a
and-
whole lot of it.
No, it just takes place in this one building for the most part. At the beginning, it kind of shows like the landscape,
Yeah.
but
But a
panning
lot of it
views
still
of the city.
feels like, it's just city.
Yeah, it's not until you get down close where you see that there's a lot of bad activity going on.
Yeah.
But
The
I mean-
the 95 one it felt like, oh, this is the future. 90s movie version of the future, sure, but it's still like, oh yeah, we're in the far future. So.
Right.
And we get to meet characters that are from different parts, so we get to see different aspects of the city and the world.
Yeah.
So
So I think as far as actual world building, I think Judge Dredd did the better job. But if we're talking like
the feel of the world.
No, if we're just talking about, I don't even think that there's an opposite of that. No, I go with Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd?
Yeah.
All right. 2-0.
2-0. Judge Dredd is up. Yeah, because we went back to zeros, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We
Okay.
did.
2-0. Wow. Judge Dredd. Up ahead.
This is crazy.
How many categories are left?
We got 6 more. We're about
6
halfway
more.
through.
Okay.
All right, let's
shoot
go.
through
Let's go. Yeah. All right. The opening narration. Which one did better?
Oh. I'm going with Judge Dredd.
It had James Earl. James?
Yeah.
Is it James Earl Jones?
James Earl Jones. Not in the movie at all.
No. He's just,
But
they just got him to narrate a scene.
for some reason, he opens up the movie and you cannot
you
say
can't
no.
have a stronger opening than
So they
the
both
only
have,
way to be like, oh yeah, the Star Wars opening crawl could be better. Have James
Is-
Earl Jones, have Darth Vader be the one saying it.
yeah, because the actual explanation in the narration is basically the same in both movies.
Yeah.
Karl Urban does the narration in the new one, and
But it's just very
James Earl
like,
Jones. But come on,
yeah.
come
I
on.
think I prefer the older one. Yes, because James Earl Jones, and you can't deny that.
Yeah.
But also because they're just straight up like, yeah, this is a narration.
Oh,
We're not
sure.
going to use this character or this voice anywhere else.
Yeah.
Whereas in the newer one, it's like,
It's him talking.
it's him talking and brooding all
Yeah.
modern movie like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true also.
Which is like, he's not talking to anyone. Mm-hmm. Or he's talking to
He's
us.
talking in his own movie.
Yeah. Which,
It's weird.
yeah, it's odd. I don't usually like that.
Right. Yeah, so 4.
4.
Man. Okay.
Can 2012 come back?
Yeah.
This one might decide it.
Okay.
Score.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I have
okay.
a note on
okay.
this. This is a little story about we went into Judge Dredd, the first one, and I was like, I'm gonna guess going into this movie who did the score. I'm gonna try to see if I can bring it from my mind. I've listened to a lot of people, see if I can recognize a style. It's within the first 5 minutes. It's like, oh yeah, this is
You
Alan
knew who it was.
Silvestri. He has a very specific suspense chord progression. Like you can hear it in every movie. When we watched Pinocchio, had no idea he scored that movie until there's a scene where he's at like the theme park area. I was like, that is Silvestri. I can hear the Avengers in that. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
He has a very
I mean,
specific style that
yeah.
once you hear it, it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know
some
that.
some composers have that. I would say that John Williams is one of those.
Yeah, John Williams has a lot of the same ones too.
So, so do you vote that
Yeah,
one?
Silvestri.
All right.
Which I liked the new one. It was very tense, good, like shoot 'em up. I'm on the edge of my seat right now. Music. It was Alan Silvestri not doing Mario Brothers, which is always a win.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna vote Dredd. Because
Our first divider.
yeah, because although Sylvester's score, like if you're just listening to it, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good score. But I think for me, it was too much for the movie. Like he's here and the movie's here as far as quality level.
It's fair.
So like there's these big sounds sometimes when like for example when
He has like a Judge Dredd theme, which I wasn't expecting. It was like a legit good, like I could hear this as a superhero theme in a modern movie.
but compare that to like when like the actual narration if it's playing during that time or like
Yeah.
when you first see him, it just doesn't match
hit.
up
Yeah.
perfectly. But my biggest example is when the dude retires and he's walking out into the cursed earth and the big doors, they open real slow and he walks out and puts his hood on.
Good
And there's like
dramatic
this
scene.
big music playing, but like seeing it in this 90s aesthetic, it just didn't work.
Bizarre.
It didn't work for me. It was like, I know what you're trying to do. And if it just looked better,
A little different. Yeah.
it would have been great. But it just didn't. So he was just too good for this movie, I think. So I got to go with, I don't even remember his name. Peter something?
I had it pulled up right here. Let's see. It is Paul Leonard Morgan.
Paul Leonard Morgan. That's right. So I got to go with it. I mean, and his was, it was kind of a standard, type of shoot 'em up, like action type score.
Yeah.
But it fit.
Yeah.
There was parts in it when music drops out right in time when like nothing's happening, and then like they start moving again, and so does the music comes back in, and it's like, oh yeah, here he goes. So yeah, I go with that one.
Yeah. Good music both rounds. So 3-1.
Okay.
This is interesting. If we both vote for Dredd on this next one.
If we go back to 0?
Yeah, we go back to 0.
Okay, let's see.
Best directing and camera work. We're going back to 0.
Yeah. Yeah, we're starting over again. Definitely with Dredd. Again, with the slow-mo stuff. Yeah.
How it both goes into slow motion and like you see all the colors saturating it more. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, the gritty look of it. So the director of photography did a good job. I mean, just in general, the whole directing was good. There wasn't scenes like in the first one where you get these weird like angles sometimes.
Yeah.
You didn't have that in this one, at least in my opinion. So
yeah, I don't remember any.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard. Like, yeah, this is good. There were some that were like, oh, that was really good.
Oh yeah. The scene where the fire is burning and you can see it in the reflection of the helmet. Yeah. That was really cool. When he throws out the son, I think, of Mama, when he just walks after they do the whole shooting of the one level, and then he comes out just out of the dust. He just comes out of nowhere, tosses the dude out.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
And then just walks back.
Because you don't even really get to see him. He's just like a shadow.
No, it's like he doesn't say anything. He doesn't stop. He just walks out, tosses, turns around, walks back into the dust. Like that was a good scene.
That's a good like, oh, that's Dredd right there.
Yeah. I wish there was more of that though. There just wasn't. But that was really good.
Yeah.
The 90s directing was very 90s directing. Again, with the weird angles sometimes, but it worked with the characters. Cause I'm pretty sure when Stallone said "I am the law," I think it was a
it was a very like
kind of from the bottom.
Yeah, like he is the law.
Right. Normally it's kind of a weird angle. It worked with the movie.
So it's still weird.
But yeah. Even some of the shots of Rico when you see his face just really intensely. Yeah. Like it's very 90s. Yeah. So. I go with 2012.
All right. Well, we're back
to 0. Man,
wow.
This might just even out then. Okay.
We've got 3 categories.
Okay, let's go.
Best judge costume.
Okay.
Which one had the look of the judges down? I'm gonna give it to the.
You were going to say the new one.
I was, but like, I kind of like the old one too.
What I didn't like about the old one, I'm going to go with the new one. Mm-hmm. What I didn't like about the old one is they were very top heavy.
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't have much padding or anything on their legs, but they had these big football pads as their whatever it was. And I didn't like that. The new movie had like a full armor. So I like that whole look better. The helmet was weird with the X kind of going in front of his eyes. Yeah. I kept thinking like, how do you see?
You see out of that? Yeah.
That was the only thing I didn't like about the helmet. The helmets looked really big too, but I guess that's just the look of that character.
Yeah.
So, but as a whole, new one.
I like the old one. Is the thing.
You're just trying to keep this close.
I mean. Yeah, I'm going to go with the new one.
The new one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the new one.
All right. I mean, hey, you guys let us know too.
Yeah. It looked like altogether looked cleaner.
I think so. Yeah. I think it looked better. It was more even. and it was just an actual armor.
Yeah.
They had the pads on the thighs, they had the knees, they had the big boots.
Yeah.
They had like a chest plate.
It was more intimidating, like altogether, which I think is what you want the judges to be.
Yeah.
Like you want the order of the law to be as scary
Right.
in this context as the criminals.
Yeah, and because of the blockiness and weird dimensions in the old one,
Yeah.
I don't think they caught that.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well. 2-0.
2-0 Dredd.
Yep.
Okay.
Best Lawmasters. This is
Oh,
the
the motorcycles.
motorcycles. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2012.
Yeah. This is a sleek, nice looking motorcycle.
It's the 95 was again a lot blockier,
Yeah.
a lot clunkier looking. So
Yeah, didn't look great.
it looked a little cheap. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I mean,
New ones are
I don't
good.
like the look of that bike just in general. Anyway, I don't think it's a good looking bike.
Yeah.
Because it is bigger anyway, even in the new one. It's smaller than the old one, but it's still kind of clunky. And I just don't think it's a cool looking bike. I don't see it and be like, ooh, that thing's
Is that
nice.
nice?
That's
Yeah.
sleek.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's
Bike.
that's a big bike. And it didn't do anything. It just rode it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it does anything in the comics, anything special that, most bikes don't do. It had the little digital stuff on it,
Yeah.
but that could be on anything. So, but
4-0.
yeah, 4-0.
Wow.
Pulling ahead.
This one's gonna tie it up.
Okay.
One-liners.
Oh, okay. This is why you watch 90s movies.
Yes.
Even some 80s movies.
Yes.
For the one-liners. And
There's some good stuff in there.
there was plenty to choose from. Actually, there wasn't plenty to choose from. There was just a lot. Sometimes they're repeated.
Yeah.
So 90s had some. I think 90s had the better
Yeah.
one-liners.
100%. So we were talking about this right before we recorded.
Uh-huh.
The new one kind of tried to go for it. And from what I understand, Judge Dredd is a one-liner character a lot of the time.
One-liner as in he only speaks in one lines, or he tries to make punchlines?
Like he'll do like a darkly funny,
Okay.
like a
He's trying to do
he had
punchlines.
to split kind of.
Okay. Yeah, so an actual one-liner.
Yeah.
I thought, because, there's some characters that are just dark. They're just like,
They only speak.
we gotta
one.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you going to explain that a little bit?
No.
Yeah.
Just turns around and walks away.
Right.
And the new one, it tried to do that, but one-liners are not dark and gritty.
No,
They are
not.
fun and just you make them for fun. Like,
Yeah.
So you got to go all the way. You got to go 90s one-liners, or you don't do one-liners because it won't come off as like anything other than kind of gross, I guess. It's the only word I can think of.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Like when he's like, no, he's like, what are you waiting for? He's waiting for her to shoot you or whatever after he dies. Like, that's not, it doesn't have the same effect when you're saying it like that. Like if Stallone was saying it in the older one, he's like, I was waiting for him to shoot you. Like, yeah, that.
It would,
It fits a little more.
It would probably be used in a different context also.
Yeah.
Or a different situation. Because that specific one-liner was kind of the only one that was really a one-liner like that.
Yeah.
Everything else was, you don't look ready.
Yeah.
You look ready.
Yeah.
Like, it's an actual just saying one line.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like
I
that,
don't remember the context for that.
I don't remember why he said that
it
either.
was funny.
It was, the girl did something
Yeah.
or said something, and then he was just like it was a big thing, and he was just like, interesting.
Is it when the doors close?
I don't remember what it was.
It was something.
But even when they have the prisoner and they're going up the elevator, whatever they're doing, and she's like, he's thinking about taking your gun, and he's just like, yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reaction.
He changed his mind. Yep. Okay. Like that doesn't hit as much as I knew you would say that.
Yeah.
So definitely 95 wins that one. I don't think you could beat a 90s or 80s movie on a one-liner.
No.
So
Well,
is that
it is with great disappointment
uh,
that I have to call a 2-4.
For
And that's
Dredd.
the end.
Oh, that was the last one?
That's the last.
Oh, man.
End
Well,
on a one-liner.
there you go.
It should be known, I heavily reject this.
He was a big fan of the 95
This
version.
might be one of my new favorite, I'm going to go back to this movie multiple times and rewatch it for comfort. This is a good, it's fun.
Well, okay.
I legitimately liked a
this.
lot of the story decisions in the movie.
You could use this as some kind of refuge. We don't have Mephisto.
No.
He's a 90s, or he grew up in the 90s like I did.
Mm-hmm.
He could have easily swayed this vote.
He
So
could
so
have, yeah.
so I don't know. Maybe we'll send this list to him, see what we get. If you guys want to give your votes, that would be fantastic also. And maybe we could use all that and come up with a different conclusion. But I mean, the science is here, and 2012 wins.
This is the average between us
Right.
of who the winner is.
Right.
If I could choose, it would be
It would be 95.
95.
Yeah.
How about you? If you could
that's,
choose,
that's a good
which
question.
one do you prefer?
If I could choose just straight
Because
up, which
if
one
you
would I
also
watch?
choose 95,
Right.
then the scientific formula does not matter.
That is true. But I wouldn't choose 95.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would choose 2012 as the better movie. Ugh, would I? Would I?
I don't like that sentence.
After talking about this? I mean, the better story was 95, dude.
It had great characters. It had legitimately great arcs for a lot of the characters. Yeah. It had great story turns of okay, now villains are killing each other. Things are getting crazy.
Oh my goodness. What just happened?
I will say, 2012 was not bad.
No, it
I
wasn't
didn't
bad.
dislike that movie. And I think it did what it wanted to do.
2012 was there for one reason. It was to make Dredd gritty and like he is in the comics without taking his helmet off. That's what 2012 was there for, and it did that.
It did that.
But 95 had other ideas.
All right. This is the ultimate
This could
deciding
be-
factor.
okay.
Spice levels
Ooh,
for
okay.
both movies.
Okay. Yes. That's a good way to try and decide.
2012, I'm going to put at a 70% spice.
Wow, that's less than The Flash. I think we gave The Flash 72, 75 maybe.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I like fun, goofy movies. I'm a fun, goofy kind of guy. So I'm going to give those a higher all the time.
Real quick, the spice level is anywhere from 0 to whatever we want, really.
Yeah.
But 100 is a
perfectly spiced movie.
just the best thing.
Yeah.
Not too over the top, but not missing anything.
Yeah.
It's 100.
Over 100, that's when spiciness starts to take over actual flavor. You don't want that in a spicy dish.
Right. It just doesn't taste good anymore. It's just too hot.
Yeah.
So Thor, Love and Thunder is probably the best example that we could think of recently. It was, you could tell that it could have been good, but they just added too much.
Yeah, that's an over-the-top spice.
So that's over 100. So that's our spice meter.
Yeah.
I would say 2012 is, I would give it a 75. My initial thought was 80.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 75. 75 spice. Mm-hmm. It was a good movie, good watch. Tasted good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like we said, it did what it wanted to do. And if you want a good shoot 'em up movie,
Yeah, there you go.
that's it.
Yeah.
95?
That is 85% spice.
I would have to give.
I kind of want to say a 90% spice.
Wow.
That's it's an excellently spiced movie, I think.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do it. It's a 90% spice. It's not perfect. It's definitely not a perfect movie.
Not a perfect movie, can't be 100. That's for sure.
But it is a good one. Like,
because it's
legit, I like and will reference a lot of things in this movie now because of how well it varies a bunch of stuff.
Because again, talking about it, the story was there. It was well executed for what it was. And maybe it's our like not knowing the comics.
Yeah. Which I will say, it also did make me interested in the comics. I'm going to try to pick some up at some point.
Yeah.
I am interested to see.
So I would be interested to see if you do get some of those comics, what you think of the movie after.
Yeah, I am too. After reading source material and be like, ooh, this is good.
Yeah. Are you going to go back and be like, oh yeah, that actually was not good. Interesting. I'd probably give it the same thing though, like a 75.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're about the same. They're different movies, but they're spiced about the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, the science I think is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a preference thing. The science says 2012 was better, which I can, you know what? I can agree with that for the most part. I think, yeah, fair enough.
It's not better by a lot.
No, not a lot. It probably, a lot of it does come from, it's probably more accurate to the source.
Yeah.
I prefer 95.
Can't argue with a preference.
No.
Everyone's got their preference. So there you go. Judge Dredd does not beat Dredd according to the science, but according to preference, it does. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think. We would love to hear on this movie what you guys think. Which one is the better movie? So follow us on our socials. Again, Facebook and Instagram, The Room Upstairs Podcast. If you're watching, then you already know we're on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. If you're listening, find us on YouTube also. Yeah. And join us there. You can join us all the places. We're fine with that too. Yeah. So anyway, follow us on our socials. We'll let you know what we're doing next.
Yeah.
You can keep up to date with everything we're doing there. All right, guys. Thank you for checking us out. Follow us.
Been good.
We'll see you next time. Hopefully Mephisto will be here with us.
Yes.
And if it's by the season finale of Loki, we'll have a special guest.
Yeah.
See you then.
That's fandom for you.